Now, I enjoyed doing our long-range video the other day so much that I want to make another one here. And in this one, we're going to go beyond September. We're actually going to take a look at the first 2 weeks of October as well. We're going to go as far as these models will let us go and just take a very, very long-range look at the upcoming pattern. Again, as far as temperatures, precipitation, storminess, and also snowfall potentially as well needs to be talked about. So multiple different factors are going to be talked about in this video. I just love making these videos so much, and if you look all the way back to the very, very beginning of my channel, this is our roots. This is how I started making videos, and the videos that you guys used to enjoy so much in my first years of making videos. So I just want to get back to those roots and make videos just like those ones. I hope you guys enjoy this. I know I will. We're taking a look here at the upcoming 5 days, and we can see there's below normal temperatures taking place here in the south central United States and the eastern United States around this time frame. So we're going to see some storminess in here that will lead to these temperatures being cooler, and also a couple of cold air masses that move through. We have warmer temperatures happening from the southwest up to the Rockies and up into the north central United States as well. And then we have some cooler temperatures expected here for the northwest, as we do have a storm system move through as well. That's going to lead towards some below normal temperatures just due to that precipitation that's moving through as well. So multiple factors like those ones will contribute towards below normal temperatures taking place. Now, as we jump ahead to the next 5-day period after that, things begin to cool down even further for the eastern United States. The precipitation and the storminess is going to continue on, and that will lead towards some below normal temperatures as well. But we also see up here for the western United States as well, we see some below normal temperatures here taking place also. Definitely a very, very interesting situation taking place, and then some above normal temperatures here around the Rockies also taking place. Now, as we can see from the 17th through the 22nd, the model starts to get really averaged out, where we have below normal temperatures from coast to coast. The only area seeing above normal temperatures, according to this model, is here in the south central United States, here in the southwestern United States, and a little bit here of the eastern United States as well. Outside of that, it's really, really far below normal temperatures. So one of two things could be happening here. Either the model is very, very confused, and this will not end up looking like that. That's what I think is personally taking place here on the model. But also what could be taking place is we do have a cold air mass on one of the two halves of the country here, and then the other half is just seeing some storminess that is leading towards dynamic cooling with that precipitation that's leading towards the temperatures being below normal, but we don't really have a cold air mass in place. Because that's the only way I could see this feasibly actually occurring like this. So definitely one of those two things is happening here. We can see that by the time we reach the 22nd through the 27th, it doesn't really get much better here. We see the below normal temperatures out west here and the below normal temperatures in the east. And again, I've said this time and time again, but the warmth has to go somewhere. And this model is showing it here, here, and here. Basically everywhere except the United States here. Very interesting. Definitely would be very, very shocked if we ended up seeing a pattern that actually looks like this. Now, the 27th through the 2nd of October, things look a little bit more realistic to me. Warmer in the west, so definitely a clear, definitive pattern there in the PNA. This is obviously a positive PNA pattern, and this forces the cold air to go around. And then we see below normal temperatures prevailing here in the eastern half of the nation. Definitely a solid pattern here that I have seen from time to time, obviously. About half the time we see a pattern like this, and it's very, very realistic. Now, the 2nd through the 7th, we see a lot of the same, except the west coast starts to cool, but we do still have the warm air mass out west to a certain extent, so that is still a neutral PNA at least, and we do see the cool temperatures in here, so we see a lot of mixing going on here. We still have our cold air mass in the east, though, here. Definitely could come to an end though here soon. Let's take a look at the 7th through the 12th, and it does appear like the west is actually cooling down as we have a negative PNA taking place, and then we see more warming out east compared to what we've seen before. But once we take a look at the 12th through the 17th, look at that. This model completely rebounds with the upcoming pattern. It gives us warmer temperatures in the west, and again cooler temperatures in the east. So a cold fall overall seems to be the trend here for the eastern United States. We did see a 1 5-day period there that looks warmer than normal, but really it was more neutral than anything. And outside of that, it just appears very, very cool comparatively to normal on this CFS model in the upcoming month and a half time frame as we reach halfway into October here. Very, very interesting, and we add 1 day here to get to the very, very end of the model run, and we get even cooler in the eastern United States, actually. Very, very interesting stuff here. Now let's go ahead and take a look. We're actually going to be taking a look at a different model here than we took a look at a couple of days ago in our other long-range video. As we can see, we have this is going to be our air masses here. We have just this ridge in a high pressure system in here taking place, and this is allowing for a lot of cold air to move around, and that's the main driver in this pattern. Things get really averaged out over time, and this model equally has a cold air mass setting up a trough here, and then a ridge in the east at some point in this model run, which is very, very interesting to see. And as time moves on, we get really confused with it, but we can tell there's a trough in the east here by looking at these lines. Just track the lines, and you can clearly see they're ridging up in the west and troughing down in the east here in the longer range as we approach into October here on this model. It kind of sticks with that type of a look all the way through the midpoint of October there, kind of agreeing there with our CFS model here on the European Weeklies model. We love to see agreement. It does increase the confidence, so that seems to be the big picture here. Now, once we take a look here at the total precipitation here, this is when things get really, really interesting. We see over the next few days, we're expecting a lot of storminess here in the southeast and the south central United States. That seems to be the trend here. And as we continue on with this, we could see over the next, through about the halfway point of September here, we have a lot of precipitation expected here for the south central, southeast, and even up the east coast into the northeast. We see a lot of precipitation taking place here. Let's just take this towards the 20th of September. We see these amounts increase greatly all the way up into Canada as well, where your reds will be 2 to 5 inches of precipitation through the next 20 days or so. And then your browns there for Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, all of these regions seeing 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. And as we approach the end of the month, look at that. We see even more precipitation taking place here in the southeast in particular, but also the Gulf Coast, bringing us well into those green, or those grays, better yet, and even to the blues there for portions of Florida, right near the Gulf of Mexico, where we're expecting 10 to 15 inches of precipitation. As we get into about the first 10 days of October here, we see these amounts greatly increasing still. Obviously, any sort of tropical system that could come through that this model can't predict this far out could absolutely send these numbers through the roof for a particular region. Obviously, like I said, this model cannot predict a specific system this far out, so that would be something that we would have to wait and see. And we see more of these blues popping up as we approach this range, indicating 10 to 15 inches of precipitation. And as we approach the midway point of October, we see that basically all of these regions are seeing those 10 to 15 inch amounts over the next month and a half time frame. A lot of precipitation, to say the least. Now here is the precipitation anomalies. We're going to take a look at 7-day periods. We can see for the next 7 days we expect above normal precipitation here in the southeast and really below normal precipitation everywhere else, as you can see in the United States. As we take a look at the next week after that, we see some above normal temperature or precipitation, better yet, still in the same regions, but we also see some of it popping up here for the north central United States. Let's just take a look at the next period after that, and we have much, much more neutralized precipitation anomalies here now at this point. We can see just little bits of brown, little bits of green. This model's confidence is definitely going down as we reach the very, very far range in this. I think the most sure thing, confident thing that this model is showing here is that above average precipitation for Florida and Georgia, where it does get pretty dark, indicating that a lot of members here on this European weekly model are indicating that this will be the case. Now, it's definitely worth noting that things do dry up here. We saw that on our GFS ensemble model as well. Same story here on the European model. As we approach late September, early October, things really, really dry up. Here's the first week of October. Again, dry for the south central United States, dry for the Ohio Valley in the northeast. And then we do have some above normal precipitation there near the southeast coast, but that's about it. As we approach this time frame, the second week of October, we have dry precipitation, dry conditions overall here around for the south central, up through the north central, and into the northeastern United States. And below this, we do have above normal precipitation expected here for the southeast coast. Definitely Very, very interesting stuff here on our European weekly model. And then as we take a look at the total snowfall through the next month and a half, this is our 46-day snow forecast here from our European weekly model. We do see some of that in New England, even Pennsylvania there, Pennsylvania, New York border around the Finger Lakes regions there. We do see the Adirondacks there in New York, seeing some of those grays popping up, and then northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, northern Maine as well for the next 46 days. Now, we also see that for a lot of the Rockies, we obviously expect quite a bit of snowfall potentially. Your blues, your purples, your pinks, we're seeing quite a bit of that activity going on in there, indicating some larger snowstorms for those regions might be coming up in the next 46 days. Even the mountains of California. We also see the mountains of the Cascades there in Oregon and Washington. Super interesting stuff here, guys. Really, really interesting. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video if you did like it. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. And be sure to subscribe for more weather-related content. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.